Here, let's talk about all the games happened on Sunday, February 6th. The first game is the Philadelphia Sixers beat the Chicago Bulls without Zach LaVine 119-108. Joel Embiid continues to dominate with 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I don't know what else to say about this guy. And somehow, if they got James Harden, I think, they're right there with all the top Eastern Conference teams. Even without them, they've been winning. I mean, without Ben Simmons, they're all-star. I mean, how many games? Just behind Joel Embiid. They won 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're the 5th seed right now. But the problem with Joel Embiid is that, and then all the top Eastern teams, their record are kind of similar, unlike the Western Conference. But the problem with Joel Embiid that I've seen is in the playoffs, he gets tired way too easily, especially in the second half. Playoff basketball obviously is more physical. And people say, okay, Joel Embiid is kind of big, but a lot of his points come from the free throw line. So if the referees decided to not call as many fouls, it just changes the whole dynamic. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs with the Sixers. Regular season, they've done it many years. It doesn't really matter. Seth Curry had 2 threes, 12 points in an okay game. Tyrese Maxey continued his incredible efficiency. And this game added 3 steals. That's good. If he can get more defensive stats in fantasy, that's great. Tobias Harris also played well, and the Bulls defense, man. I see why Joel Embiid will get 40 because Vucevic is not a great defender, so he would absolutely struggle. Tobias Harris played well, provided some defensive stats as well. Well, with Matisse Thybulle out, Danny Green played 27 minutes with the block. If Danny Green is at 27 to 30 range and you need some defensive stats on threes, sure, like you could turn into it. You could stream him for a couple games, but just a streamer. For the Bulls, Javonte Green, I think we could pick him up for sure. 1 steal and 2 blocks here again, 17 points and just crazy efficiency. Guys like him and Ayo Dansamu, these 2 guys, they're gonna have a timestamp on their value because once Lonzo Ball comes back, once Alec Caruso eventually comes back, maybe in the fantasy playoff time, they're not going to have much value. And Kobe White also out this game. But with those guys out, sure, like you got to have them, right? Ayo Downsam's assist numbers have been crazy. 7 assists here. And, it's pretty consistent getting, over 5 assists a game now, Troy Brown Jr., let's not worry about him. Vucevic and DeRozan went off again. My God, 45 points, 9 for 11, 60% shooting, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and still just continue to be a beast. Vucevic struggled defensively against Joel Embiid, but offensively he got his 23, 7, and 5 with 5 personal fouls. Let's go to the next game. The Detroit Pistons losing to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have been good. They have been good. They're beating all the teams that they're supposed to beat, and 7-3 in their last 10. This is the year they'll make the playoffs again. Sadiq Bey, good. Sadiq Bey has been good. I know ranking-wise, let's check out his rankings in the last 2 weeks. Where is he at? Just 109th ranked player, but if you look at the numbers, 16 points, that's great, 2.5 threes, 6 rebounds, 1 steal. But biggest problem is 38% from the field. But I think for him, the counting stats is pretty valuable. And if you're punting field goal, he's a really nice guy to have. Jeremy Grant, let's see if what happens to him. With Kate Cunningham out, he didn't really do much. But let's just wait and see what happens with, all the guys. Kelly Olynyk, if you got him, you might as well just hold him till the trade deadline if you can afford it. Because right now, if Jeremy Grant stays, Kelly Olynyk is 100% droppable. Isaiah Stewart plays super well. 5 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Here we go. Finally, the blocks are coming in. But like I said, as a center, he's not a great field goal guy. And he doesn't block that many shots. 4 blocks here is obviously good. Hamdou Diallo, 22 minutes. 2 steals, didn't really do much, so he's not really fantasy relevant. And the point guard position, Corey Joseph and Killian Hayes, they are starting Corey Joseph and make Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is a good assist and steal streamer, playing 24 minutes a game. Had 8 assists, which is good here. But if Kate Cunningham is here, he won't be getting 8 for sure. But, depending on what happens with this team on the trade deadline, Kelly Olynyk could be a must roster if Jeremy Grant gets traded. I think he will at least play 25 minutes a night. I think him and Trey Lyles are the true quote unquote power forward on this team. So at least they'll get one of them is gonna maybe get 30 minutes head start. Maybe it'll take a while, but it's a possibility. For the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, 17 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. He hasn't had an explosion game yet lately in the last 2 weeks. Let's check out what his ranking is. But, well, I take that back. He's a 28th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Averaging 22 points, yes. 5 rebounds, 3.2 assists, yeah. This guy makes a lot of threes. He takes a lot of threes. He makes a lot of threes. And with the volume threes he's taking, 45% is not so bad, to be honest. 1.5 steals and 0.7 blocks is just so good. Problem with him is the turnovers, sometimes the bad free throws, and the bad efficiency. Conley stat-wise, pretty solid. Jared Vanderbilt, 2 points, but if you're pounding points and threes, he's really, really good. Yeah, I mean, even if you're not pounding threes and points, I think he's probably a must-start already. But if you're pounding either 3 or points, in category leagues, he's super good. This game, obviously, plays just 25 minutes for whatever reason. Karl Anthony Towns feasted, well, didn't really feast, but 60% shooting is great. Didn't go to the free throw line, 24 points, 12 rebounds, and a block. And Patrick Beverley is a must roster, in my opinion. He just gets hurt way too often, but whenever he plays, he put up okay numbers. Not so much this game, but we want to hold on to him. D'Lo finally, came back and continued to shoot the ball sub 40%, but 8 assists, 22 points. If you drop D'Lo after 80th spot, I think with him, you think about what you want to pound, right? If you pound field goal, his value goes up a lot. If you pound free throws also. So D'Lo provided very solid counting numbers. It's just the efficiency drags his rankings down by, 30, 40 spots even. And he also turned the ball over a lot. That's another thing. But the assist is very, very solid. Malik Beasley, 21 minutes. Jaden McDaniels, 24. But, with all the starters healthy, I don't think we want to have anything to do with the Timberwolves guys, the bench Timberwolves guys. Let's go to the next game. The Brooklyn Nets lost their 8 straight games. Kyrie played. It was at Denver, 104-124. But the problem with Kyrie is that he, just like with LeBron, he's that nice guy that could just get his own shot, alleviate burden from another superstar. But if you ask him to lead a team on his own, he's not fit for that. Like Harden is better. Like if Harden and this Nets team, could probably get more wins than just Kyrie. For sure, could get more wins than just Kyrie. And but how valuable is Harden on this team once KD comes back? We don't know. Harden was also out this game with the hamstring issue. I would be worried for sure. It looks like this is bothering him all year. So why not just rest it up? I think every time he misses a game or two, the next game he comes back, he always looked good. So I think the hamstring issue is really bothering him. Maybe they should just rest him and just, in the playoffs. So just rest him till the All-Star break. That could also work. Like if you own James Harden, you just rest him till All-Star break. See if he can just be fully healthy. Because that will mean a lot. Because if he's not healthy, he doesn't put up great numbers. It's just the assists he's putting up. Everything else is pretty bad. Kyrie took 26 field goals this game. 27. Just a great number. Just a great line, even though the efficiency was off. But had 3 blocks and a steal. Patty Mills. I think with Harden out, especially Patty Mills is a must roster. Hit 4 threes. The amount of threes he's hitting makes him a must roster. Although he doesn't really provide anything else. Lately, he's been getting a lot of steals, but I don't think we should count on that. Blake Griffin got the start. James Johnson, Kelsey Edwards, these guys are interchangeable. None of them is a must roster. And Cam Thomas, 32 points. This is what I thought once KD was out. I thought Cam Thomas would come in and play 30 minutes, provide that offense for this team. But he's too inconsistent. So unless they got a good schedule, unless you need points and threes, I don't think we want to have to do anything to do with Cam Thomas. For the Denver Nuggets, this is why Jokic is the MVP, but they don't have a good they're the 6th seed. That would make it hard for them. If they're top 3 in the Western Conference, then sure, right? Like Ja Morant has a much better case than Jokic, even though Jokic is on another level. But the MVP award is weird. Jokic again, just not even 30 minutes, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. I mean, my God, by far the number one. He's in his own tier, so I don't think we should mess around with that next year. Just pick him number one. There's really just on his own tier, really. I thought coming into the season Harden would be close, but I was very wrong. And if you traded Curry for Jokic, that's really good. That's all I gotta say. Aaron Gordon was questionable coming into this game. Also feasted. It was against the Nets. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Horrible defensive team. Jeff Green played 20. Not really interested. Will Barton, another great game. 21 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. But anytime Will Barton has a good stretch, I would do a 2-for-1. Try to see if I can unload him. He's too inconsistent for me, and the efficiency issues. Monty Morris 8 assists. That's great. 12 points. Not a must roster, but a fine guy to have. And Zeke Nargin been getting 20 minutes. Brian Forbes is that guy getting 25 minutes. Because Facu Campazzo used to coming off the bench get 20 minutes. That's no longer the case. Forbes is getting them. So I guess, who's running the offense when Jokic is taking a rest? Maybe Monty Morris. But yeah, Facu was putting up some nice numbers. Now he played 2 minutes a game. Let's talk about the next game, the Indiana Pacers. It's funny that they played each other, and then the trade went through. It was between these two teams. I'll talk about the trade a little bit. It was just Caris LeVert to Cleveland for some picks, I think. So Indiana Pacer guys, all the guys get a boost, and all the Cleveland Cavalier guys get a little bit of instead of boost, it was they lose value a little bit. Justin Holiday. So on this team, Chris Duarte is the one with the most upside. So we could pick up Chris Duarte. And Justin Holiday and Torrey Craig, they should also be so that's the thing. Malcolm Brogdon's still out. We don't know what happens when Malcolm Brogdon comes back. But I feel pretty good about Chris Duarte. Even, he's still going to be in the starting lineup. He'll be playing 30, 35 minutes a night. But all the other guys, I'm not sure what happens when Malcolm Brogdon comes back. And Miles Turner comes back. So Brogdon, not Brogdon, Duarte, sure. If he's out there, go grab him. And all the other guys, I don't think they're really. So it depends. The trade deadline is this week. Sabonis could be traded. Miles Turner could be traded. When those guys get traded, then we could look at Gogo Badaze, right? Jackson, right, is another guy, and Terry Taylor, right? All these guys are fantasy beasts when given 30 minutes. So we'll see what happens. But who knows? When those trades happen, unless they get the picks, most likely they're going to get somebody back. So if they get somebody back, then nobody really gains any value. Justin Holiday could definitely be a streamer. Hit 3 cent steals. Hit 2 3 cent steal here. Torrey Craig also providing some nice defensive stats and some rebounds. If you need those, you could stream him. Sabonis' first game back was a -20. So what happened? We'll just wait and see. Dwayne Washington got 31 minutes, put up okay. Now he's another guy that we could maybe stream because he got 30+ minutes. Kiefer Sykes is starting, played 25 minutes. We could also stream him as long as Malcolm Brogdon is out. But all these guys, they're too inconsistent. Duarte is the only guy that I feel pretty good about, being a 12-team guy. All the other guys, I think we all know, is fringe. But that could change. But for now, that's not the case. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dean Wade, oh yeah. So Caris LeVert comes in. I think, obviously you have Garland, you have Allen, you have Mobley, and Caris LeVert is also going to start. So that's 4. Maybe they're going to continue around Lauri Markkanen, or maybe Isaiah Okoro. But I don't think for Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, majority of their fantasy values come from the other stuff, not the scoring, not the assist. So I think they're going to be fine. Darius Garland is the number one option. I think he's also going to be fine as well. Maybe Caris LeVert could make him better. Um, you know, take some pressure off him. Kevin Love, is still gonna come off the bench, play 20 to 25 minutes. So I think he's also be fine. So I think all these guys, they are going to be fine too. They might lose a little bit value, but they should all be fine. Not a big, he won't be impacted that much. Maybe Lauri Markkanen, won't be getting the minutes, but everybody else should be okay. Rondo played 31 minutes as well. Brandon Goodwin also played 16. So, Rondo is another guy, can help out running some offense because everything used to go through Darius Garland. That's a lot of pressure on him. He gets tired. He literally broke his back soreness. So hopefully he'll be back. But Cavaliers, with the addition of Caris LeVert, they look pretty good. The rebuild is pretty fast. It took 2-3 years since LeBron left? 3 years. 3 years, yeah. Now they're back in the playoffs. All right, let's talk about the next team. Celtics just destroyed the Orlando Magic, 116-83. I'm telling you, Celtics been playing better. Let's look at the total assists, 29 assists. That's pretty good. They're moving the ball. Everybody gets the touch. Jason Tatum played 35 minutes. They're not going to go for 40 every now and then, right? They still got their field goal attempts, 18 and 22 for Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. Not the best game, but they got the win. Al Horford, this is why we just can't drop him yet. You look at this game, you look at the stats line, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal and a block. You just don't find guys like that. In the next game, he could give you 4 points. But sometimes he could go off for 5 blocks against some inferior competition. So it's just a hold for me. The right place to trade him a long time ago, beginning of the season. Robert Williams, 2 steals and 2 blocks. Still another monster game. 2 steals and 2 blocks, 6 rebounds, 10 points in 27 minutes. Jaylen Brown also scored well, 3 steals. That's nice. 1 for 9 from the 3. Is not ideal, but still played pretty well. Good fantasy line. Marcus Smart grabbed 8 rebounds, just 2 assists, a steal and a block, and 3 points. You don't get Marcus Smart for those scoring, right? It's mainly the steals and the assist. And then you look at the bench. Dennis Schroeder, huge game in 20 minutes, 22 points, 2 assists, but we gotta let him go. If you can sell him, sure, do a 2 for 1. But with everybody healthy, as we clearly see, he's getting 20 to 25 minutes. Not good enough. Josh Richardson played 26, 7 minutes. He could be a streamer, even though he's really sucked yesterday. 0 points, 0 for 8. Really good streamer. He's been getting a lot of defensive stats this year on the Celtics team. Reinventing himself, not reinventing, because he used to be a beast at getting the defensive stats. Grant Williams, 12 points. He's not really fantasy relevant, I don't think. And for the Orlando Magic, Mo Bamba is a guy that we want to pay some attention to. Had 2 blocks, so that's great. He wasn't getting the minutes. Now, he just needs 28 minutes. He doesn't need 35 minutes to be fantasy relevant. Give him 28 to 30 minutes. He's going to get you 2 block shot, right? So I'm not worried about that. About the high minutes, he's still a must roster, very solid. Wendell Carter Jr. played well, 14 points and a block, 8 rebounds. He has been really, really good. I would try to sell him. Franz Wagner, not the best game, grabbed 7 rebounds and 8 points. And we know Franz Wagner is, top 100 guy for sure. But if one game he scored 30, that's when you try to sell him. And especially with all the guys back, he's not gonna have that high usage. Cole Anthony has fallen off a cliff as well. To me, he's still a top 50 player, but that has not been the case ever since he's back from his ankle injury. Maybe he's still not 100% in the last 2 weeks. 93rd ranked player. Could be worse. To me, he should be a top 50, 60 player. But the way he's been playing lately, that doesn't look like it. Still averaging a solid 17.7 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Still top. He just need to, improve his efficiency, 38% in the last 2 weeks, and no defensive stats. So maybe try to throw him a top 7, like Wendell Carter Jr. for Cole Anthony. That I would do it. But obviously in category leagues, they provide different stuff. Jalen Suggs play well. He's a must roster. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 17 points. The turnovers is rough, but that's for rookies. But he's a must roster. He's been playing really, really well coming back from that injury, getting a lot of defensive stats, getting the assists, score a little bit as well. And Garrett Harris, Chuma Okeke. Okeke had a great game, 3 steals and 2 blocks. I think he's just a streamer though, not a must roster. And Garrett Harris, no, with all the guys back, we don't want him. The next game, the battle between Trae Young and Luka. Luka was in foul trouble this game. He picked up 5 fouls in the early third quarter, but it doesn't matter. They got the win. And he struggled efficiency wise a little bit, but had another triple double. For the Hawks, let's see what happens with this team on trade deadline. How could have a lot of fantasy implications. Like if John Collins gets traded, right? What happens? Are they gonna play Okongwu alongside Clint Capella? That doesn't seem like a smart idea though. But Gallinari's value could go up, and all the wings value could go up as well. They might just decide to go small, right, with 1 center and 4 wing guys. DeAndre Hunter, I think he's a must roster, but 14 points, 6 rebounds. But every time he goes off, this is the type of guy, just like Franz Wagner, a must roster. But if they play well, try to sell them. John Collins went off, 22 points and 18 rebounds. Really good. Let's see what happens with him at the trade deadline. Clint Capella and Okongwu. Yeah, Clint Capella, man. He cannot get traded this season, so no worries there. But he just played 20 minutes. He starts. He doesn't finish games. Okongwu sometimes finishes. Sometimes they just go small, right? What are you going to do with Capella? You probably drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round. He's nowhere near the value you're looking for. Okongwu might be better than him last 2 weeks. Under 20 minutes. Let's just do that check real quick. Okongwu. $117. Okay, let's see what 79th. My bad. Clint Capella is still better, but it's kind of close, to be honest. Okongwu played 60 minutes, had 3 steals and 2 blocks and 4 rebounds. He's not a must roster, but if he pounding points, you could make an argument. If you're pounding points and threes, you could make an argument that, hey, like Nerlens Noel, you could maybe have him. And he doesn't get hurt like Nerlens Noel. Bogdanovic played just 23 minutes. I think he's still a hold. I don't know why his minutes was so low. A big reason was they're down big. But why didn't he play him more minutes? That's a head scratcher. Still a hole. Let's see what his like. If next game he played 30 minutes again, then no worries. We still roster him. Gallinari got 24 minutes. Sure, they needed more offense. 11 points. And if John Collins end up getting traded, there's a chance he could be a 12-team guy in category leagues. Gallinari, really good threes, free throws, and some points. And Trae struggled, but still put up a double-double. 17 points and 11 assists. Went to the free throw line 4 times. And Kevin Huerter. Also, I think we should also have him, even though he's inconsistent, but the playing time is there, and he put up pretty well-rounded numbers. For the Mavericks, Dorian Finney-Smith played 42 minutes. My God. He took 10 threes. 11 points, a steal and a block. He's a fine guy to have. Obviously, Maxi Kleber and Porzingis both out. When those guys come back, he might just play 30. He will still get 30 minutes. Not a must roster guy, but definitely you could stream him. Reggie Bullock, huge game, 22 points, 6 threes and 2 steals. Yeah, I think with all the guys out, he could be a good option for points and threes. But I don't think he'll get this many minutes when Maxi Kleber and Porzingis come back, because both guys are gonna start, and Dorian Finney-Smith is still gonna start. Jalen Brunson and Luka, he'll come off the bench. He definitely won't be getting 38 minutes. He'll play kind of T. Hardaway Jr. type of role, maybe 25 minutes. Jalen Brunson also played well. He's just been really good, all season. 22 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal with 4 threes. And Luka struggled with his efficiency, but in the end got a triple-double, and in just 27 minutes too. All right, let's go to the next game. The New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans beat the Houston Rockets. Herbert Jones, 31 minutes, had a steal, 9 points. Well, interestingly, Jackson Hayes still played 28 minutes. He's taking some of the minutes away from Herbert Jones, but Herbert Jones still got 30 plus minutes, so he's obviously still a very solid hold. But like I said, I don't expect him to be a top 50 player, right? Top 80, top 90, but not top 50. So if he plays well, try to do a 2-for-1, just to see if you can get a Cole Anthony maybe. Brandon Ingram, 33 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. Wow, what a game. But again, it was against the Rockets. You can't trust it too much with the defensive numbers. Because Kevin Porter, did he play? Yep. He only had 2 turnovers. That is super impressive from Kevin Porter. But it was against the Rockets, you can't. But if he can get more defensive stats like this, his value would skyrocket. Valanciunas fouled out in 27 minutes. Grabbed just 5 rebounds. I think his rebounding numbers has regressed a lot in the last 2 weeks. Maybe I'm wrong. 46 ranked player. Sorry, I'm wrong. Still averaging 11.7 rebounds. I think in the last 2 games, he wasn't grabbing a lot of rebounds. But the rest of the line, 1 steal and 1 block, that's great. Still a top 40 player in my opinion. And Zion Williamson is out for season. Josh Hart came back, played well, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. A must roster player. Devontae Graham, is he a must roster? The assist is nice, 5 assists a game, but everything else is really not there. And some threes, sure. He hits 2 threes. Everything else is negative. Depending on what you need. If you're pounding some big man stats, he's a fine guy to have. And Jackson Hayes is interesting. 2 steals and 2 blocks, 28 minutes. Can we trust it? Can we trust him to get... Because it doesn't make too much sense to play him and Valanciunas together. And they did a few minutes this game. Valanciunas was also in foul trouble. That's why he got an extra few minutes. I personally don't trust it. Let's see what happens next game. If Valanciunas play 35 minutes and Jackson Hayes still getting 28, then okay. That means Herbert Jones is losing some minutes to him. Maybe Josh Hart. It doesn't look like Josh Hart is losing minutes. But if Jackson Hayes played consistent 28 to 30, he can get plenty of defensive stats. I like him. Have that upside due to the blocks, mainly the blocks, to be honest. And Nikhil Alexander-Walker, yeah, we could all move on from him. For the Houston Rockets, Emperor Şengün, he started, was in foul trouble, sure, no problem, but still got 25 minutes. He's a must roster in my opinion. We were waiting for a Wood trade, but it didn't look like we're gonna need that, right? He started along with Christian Wood. Had 5 personal fouls, but in 25 minutes he had a steal and 2 blocks, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. He put up kind of like Kyle Anderson numbers. But he will block more shots. Kyle Anderson probably get more steals. That's a lot of upside for you. So I think we got to roster him. Christian Wood, 22 points, also played well, and a block, 8 rebounds, 3 threes. And Şengün took 5 threes. What's going on this game? Jason Tate, 2 threes, a steal and 2 blocks. Jason Tate, I'm perfectly okay for streaming him, but I don't think he's a must roster, right? On the season, Tate, yeah, he's a 156 ranked player. But every once in a while, you look at his stat and you go, wow, that's a great line. That's gonna happen sometimes. This is why we could stream him. And Kevin Porter Jr., the assist is super nice, right? Missed 2 free throws, had a block and 2 turnovers. If you're pounding free throws and you're pounding turnovers, you could have him. I don't think if you're pounding field goal and turnovers, you want to have him because he's such a big negative front to your free throw. But if you're pounding free throws and turnovers and you love those assists, it's fine. I think he's fine to have. Jalen Gray also played okay, 18, but he's the worst starter in the NBA. 18 points and minus 13. Yeah, he's not Anthony Edwards, guys. He's not a must roster. I think we could stream him for points, and I don't even think he makes that many threes. So really just the points. If they got a good schedule going on, we could go in there and stream his points. And you got to be careful with your field goal as well. Garrison Matthews, 30 minutes. He's a guy that we could stream for threes. But with all the guys healthy, I don't trust him to get 30 minutes every night. Kenny Martin Jr., Josh Christopher. We know give these guys 30 minutes, they're must rosters. They have like top 60 upside, but unless a trade happens, it's not gonna happen. But we keep an eye on both of them. Keep an eye on the Rockets. Keep an eye on all the teams, especially the teams with players that are currently playing 20 minutes. If they play 30, they become must rosters. The next game, the Milwaukee, but I don't know why this game the line was Milwaukee only minus 3.5. I thought the Clippers were pretty horrible, and they ended up losing by 24. No defense, they turned the ball over a lot. Disorganized. Although the trade went through, but now the guys that actually played this game, right? Oh, you know what? Robert Covington and Norman Powell, they both played. that was quick. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton, 17 points, a good game. I realized Clippers give out a lot of defensive stats. Even though this game, the Bucks only got 6, because no serious defense was being played this game, because it's just too easy to score. Giannis, 30 minutes, 28 points, 2 steals and 2 blocks, a steal, 5 assists, 10 rebounds. Good front and free throw line, continues to be a beast. Bobby Portis, the points, the rebounds have been solid with him all season. It's the defensive stats that fluctuate up and down. He also hit 4 threes here. That's obviously really good, and a steal. But he was on the season. He's got to be top 80. Wow, 54 on the season. And in the last 2 weeks, yeah, he's also elite, 54th. My God. And he's not even getting a lot of defensive stats. 0.7 steals. That's not elite. 0.8 blocks is pretty good. But he scored 15 points, 2 threes, 9 rebounds. Pretty solid. Pretty solid from Bobby Portis. And he doesn't turn the ball over, obviously. So that's another reason why his rankings are pretty high. Pat Connaughton got the start, hit 6 threes. That's actually huge. On a Sunday, if you're looking for threes, you stream this guy. Maybe he helped you swing the matchup. Jrue Holiday, 13 assists, 2 steals. This is why I love Jrue Holiday. Reading this stat line just feels so good. 27 points, 13 assists, 2 steals in the block. He was out beginning of the season. He was struggling when he first came back. Now he's fully ramped up. And this is what you expect. They came off winning a championship last year. You don't expect him to go that hard. Same thing with Giannis, but they're still putting up great numbers. 31st ranked play in the last 2 weeks. And now let's look at the Clippers. What's going to happen with them? So this game, Amir Coffey still got the start, played 25. Amir Coffey is a drop. He won't be getting 30-plus minutes with Norman Powell there. Norman Powell played 24 minutes, had 28 points. My God, this guy can put up numbers. I think Ty Lue is trying to figure things out. Batum started, got 60 minutes. I think eventually Robert Covington and Norman Powell is going to get 30-plus minutes. This is just my thought process. Otherwise, why would they trade for him? They trade for these two guys. They gave them 24 minutes. I don't think that makes too much sense. And I think Norman Powell is the best option out there probably at this point of all their careers. And same thing with Robert Covington, defensive specialist. Coaches love them all. So he should also be getting 30 minutes. So if you got those guys, I think still a hold. First game, they haven't got the practice in. Eventually, those guys are going to get 30 minutes, whether coming off the bench or start. So Amir Coffey, clear drop, I think. Batum, also, you could probably let him go. Marcus Morris Sr. could also lose a few minutes. I just don't know what's going to happen. Reggie Jackson, well, he's the point guard, and the two guys they got are not point guards. So his minutes should be secure. And what happens when Paul George comes back? There's still a lot of question marks with this team. But Norman Powell, Robert Covington, if they get dropped, I would scoop them up. Amir Coffey, you could let him go. You could let Batum go. Marcus Morris Sr., you got to hold on to him. He had 20 points and 5 threes. That's pretty good. Zubac, 10 points. Not a must roster. Isaiah Harden, you could stream him. Isaiah Hardenstein, play 8. Oh my God. Ty Lue played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He played 12 guys last night. And clearly none of them worked. And also Luke Kennard, yeah, we could also let him go. If you had him, expect him to get 30 minutes, hit 3 threes a game, that's not going to That's not gonna happen with Norman Powell around now. Yeah, next few days gonna be a lot of trades. You just want to hold on to acquisitions, because, well, if you're in a playoff hunt, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta try to win, right? Otherwise, I think it's okay to hold some of your acquisitions, be ready to pull the trigger. And that's it for all the games, guys. I'll see you later.